Hey everyone, it's Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. Welcome back to another video. I'm slightly rosy-faced. It's seemingly a second summer here in the UK. Beautiful September sunshine. Carrow Road basked in sunlight, and we saw, well, best performance of the season for Norwich City, a 4-1 win against Watford. We've now scored 8 goals against Watford in our last 2 matches against them. Yeah, perfect. Perfect day. Absolutely perfect day. I think the pleasing thing for me this season with Norwich, and I'm going to put the Oxford away game to one side. I think that was a complete anomaly, a complete outlier. We've gone over that a million times as to why that was such a poor day for Norwich, but actually you can kind of sketch through it in terms of a form line. The pleasing thing since that point has been that there's been a kind of cohesion, and there's been a clear pattern developing, and for me, I've been able to see an improvement in performances week in, week out, and sometimes that's resulted in wins. You take the Coventry game, for example, and sometimes that's resulted in defeats. You take last week's game against Swansea as an example, and actually, the performances haven't been overly different in those types of games. It's just been fine margins that have dictated it. And I'm a believer that it's at this stage, it's kind of performance-led. Certainly when you've got a new head coach in charge, you've got new coaching staff, you've got new players, they're all trying to implement their role. As long as you can see something developing in front of you, I'm kind of happy to take the eye test at this point of view. And I made a video this week on the channel just saying, like, let's not get too caught up with results, and let's not get too carried away with results. Either way, performances are going to dictate, I think, the mood around the place at the moment. And I was of the opinion that the mood is good around the place. Everyone I speak to, the vibe I get when I'm at Carrow Road, the vibe I get when I'm away from home. I mean, I was at Selhurst Park and we got beat 4-0 to Crystal Palace, and actually the mood that night was better than some wins away from home under David Wagner. So something's changed here, and something continues to change. And that was epitomised beautifully at Carrow Road today with Norwich running out 4-1 winners. And actually, I don't think that's an unfair scoreline whatsoever. I think it could have been more. Norwich take the lead. Callum Doyle very early on. We'd had a chance just before that through Josh Sargent, and it was a brilliant save by the goalkeeper. I think the keeper will be very disappointed to have let that strike in from Callum Doyle. But, I mean, we're looking at a player here in Callum Doyle, and well, I'm certainly one to get carried away with things, but he is a Premier League footballer. It's as simple as that. He's a Premier League footballer playing in the Championship, and how we've got him and why he picked Norwich, I don't know, but at this stage, I don't really care. He is our player for this season, and we will continue to enjoy him and hopefully keep him fit. And I think, I watched him play at left back against Oxford, and I was disappointed with what I saw that day. There was clearly a player in there, and I was just like, move him to centre-back and he'll be absolutely mustard. And he was moved to centre-back and has been absolutely brilliant there all the way through this season. There was a slight tweak from Johannes Hoff-Torup today, which brought Jose Cordoba in, so Callum Doyle was shifted over to left-back. And I still actually think he's a better centre-back, but he's an absolutely superb left-back as well. And, I mean, I'm just looking at FOTMob now, 8.9 rating. I think that's the highest rating of any defender on the app in terms of the Championship this season. It was a sublime performance. There was a goal, there was an assist. Defensively, so good. I mean, let's get carried away about Callum Doyle. We are watching a truly masterful player operating in the Championship, and my goodness, let's not take him for granted, because he's not going to be here forever. And falling in love with a lone player, they tell you not to do it. Well, it certainly happened here with Callum Doyle. He was absolutely superb today. And from that point on, actually, when we got the first goal, I thought, okay, let's kick on, let's get 2 or 3, and we were unlucky not to do so. I thought we were really good for the first 25 minutes of that game. Watford equalised. It was a sloppy goal to concede. We got a bit lucky with the first one. It hit the crossbar, kind of recycled, cross back in. Andrew scores. And at that point, you're going, all of the hard work of the first 25 minutes, and you should have been, almost out of sight at this stage, and now Watford were back in it. And I thought from that point, actually, until Norwich scored their second through Borja Sainz, Watford were the better team. And I think Norwich will be... that will be the team talk from Johannes Hoff-Torup. Aside from the positives and aside from the good things, the team talk will be, we were really disappointing between the 25th and the 45th minute. And actually, we, in hindsight, maybe got lucky to be going in at the halftime break ahead. It was a fantastic goal from Borja Sainz, brilliant ball from Kenny McLean, nice take from Borja Sainz, and after a poor performance against Swansea last week, I thought he delivered today. There's a temperament and there's a hostility about Borja Sainz, but I think that kind of plays into his game, and he was wasteful on occasions today. But the finish is, superb. The touch is superb. He brings stuff to this game. He is very very, very, very early days Emi Buendia in a sense of the way that he moves, the mistakes that he makes, the success that he has. He is hot-headed. He is a brilliant footballer and incredibly entertaining, but we are still very much in the developmental stage of Borja Sainz's career. So you go in the break, 2-1, happy days. And Norwich just kind of close it out from there. It was a really, really good move for Marcelino. Nunez's goal. It's a lovely finish from Nunez, who I thought had one of his better games today, was sharp, was hustling, was winning the ball back on real kind of regular basis. And that was good to see from Marcelino Nunez, who I thought, and I have thought actually for his Norwich career, he has real good games and then he'll go missing in others. And I thought today was one of his better games. It was the Callum Doyle assist. I'm going to have to watch the goal back, but being there in person and watching that unfold, if we see more of that this season, then certainly lots to get excited about under Johannes Torup. And from that point on, we could have kicked on. We chose not to. Ben Chrisene got, again, a really nicely worked goal late on in the game when it was all done. But I walked into Carrow Road feeling hopeful and feeling optimistic and enjoying what I've seen so far under Johannes Torup, and I've walked away feeling even more excited. And I had a really nice moment actually, post-match in the Lion and Castle, Lower Barclay, after the game, and was having a couple of pints, saw some friends, Sons of Mark, brilliant Norwich band playing in the corner, and I just looked around, I just took a moment, I thought, we didn't have this last season. We had kind of glimpses of it, but there is a real feeling of togetherness and a real feeling of ambition and a real feeling of kind of identity again. And it's been a long while since I felt that. It's been a really long while. I don't think we had it under David Wagner. We certainly didn't have it under Dean Smith. We didn't have it under the last couple of years of Daniel Farker. And for the first time today, I looked around and I thought, yeah, there's something building here. And what that looks like, I'm still not sure. And it may not accumulate to success on the pitch, but things are moving in the right direction. I think when you're a football club and you've got so many variables, ultimately that's what you're trying to build. You're trying to build a really good on-pitch squad and coaching staff that replicates that. And that was the other thing. Loved seeing Declan Rudd out there today. A Norfolk boy, came through the academy, back there coaching. Really proud to see that, and I'm glad that they made the decision to kind of put Declan in that first team coaching role, however long that may last. But I looked around, I thought there's something happening and there's a freshness about the place and there's belief. Ultimately, it boils down to belief. It boils down to belief. It boils down to community. It boils down to the feeling that something's moving in the right direction. And like, I was laughing with a couple of lads after the game and said, like, we finished 6th last season. We finished 6th. And on paper, that's a really good season. But it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun, and I feel like we all knew the kind of end point of that. It was that David Wagner would be sacked. It would be that Norwich City would ultimately fall short in the playoffs, and that's exactly what happened. Maybe we might not finish in the playoffs this season. I still don't know where this squad is at in terms of quality and consistency. I think they've got a very good chance based on the last few performances, but that might not happen. But it feels like even if we fall short this season, there will be enjoyment from fans. There will be a sense that this is going to continue moving in the right direction. And ultimately, that's all you want as a football fan. And that's all you want as a Norwich City fan who, you're supporting a club operating in a completely broken system. We are never going to compete with the top 10 in the Premier League for the foreseeable future unless something drastically changes. But what we can do is try and go things about it in the right way, and it feels like we're doing that at the moment with the recruitment, with the squad, with the head coach, with the fan base. It feels that everyone for once is pulling in the right direction. That's a really beautiful feeling. Norwich have won this game 4-1. It could have been more. As I said in the last video, it's an important few weeks now for Norwich, and it's busy. September going into October is incredibly busy. You've got lots of matches. You've got some winnable matches. Norwich needed that home win today. They got it. They played well. Can't fault any of those players out there today, and there's a good feeling about the place. And when you've got momentum and when you've got a positive fan base real special things can happen. And we've seen that before, and I think we might see it again. Great day at Carrow Road. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.